Back home, they're called the Illinois McDonald's Mitsubishi All-Stars. But as they took the field for their first game here in Cuba, the young boys and girls were playing for a different team.
Relax.
It's a big change. I mean, like, we're representing a lot more people, the whole United States. Like, when they look at us, they're seeing the United States, not just like Illinois. And I think that's kind of the way we look at them too. We see all of Cuba when we look at them, and all of Cuban baseball.
Come on, guys, come on, come on.
You know, it brought a tear to your eyes because you're sitting here going, these kids are great kids, and from Cuba, and our kids are great kids. It was emotional because you were able to, that point in time, you were able to say, wow, and all the things that have happened with the United States and Cuba for this period of time, and here we are, right here, right now, doing this, and all the stories you've heard from your grandfather and your father, it brings a tear to your eye.
The opening ceremonies took place in the Yankee Stadium of Cuba. It's called Latin American Stadium and is the most important ballpark in the country. On this day, the U.S. boys team took the field and handily beat their Cuban counterparts.
It was real nice. It was pretty big. I'd never played in somewhere like that. The grass was real nice, and the dugouts were real nice, and just like with all the people sitting around and stuff, it was pretty cool.
A touch of reality hit home real fast outside the stadium when authorities wouldn't allow these young boys to watch the game, despite the pleas of the American visitors.
We'd like them to see the game. We'd like them. 1, 2, 3, Cuba! Charge!
The girls found themselves across town and playing on a field totally opposite from the manicured lawns the boys were playing on.
Pick it up a little bit, charge that ball.
The field was so bad, some compare the thatched roof dugouts to playing on Gilligan's Island.
If you slide into the base and the base moves, you just stay where you are. Don't go after the base, just stay where you are.
But the games went on, and the 13-year-old Americans found themselves up against some stiff competition. How stiff? Some of the Cuban players in their 20s were on the 2000 Sydney Olympic team.
So I think the first time that they faced that, they were intimidated. But to their credit, they made the adjustments that they needed to make. No, go ahead and stay there, Allison. I think that the heat has been a major problem. The first day when we had that practice in the morning, I thought we had some left in the tank for the first game that afternoon, but we were pretty well drained by the time we got to the second game. It is a very draining kind of heat.
Good job, good job, good job. That's the way to go. Good, 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 good.
Lloyd Hewlett is the manager of the team.
And one of the things that I like best about this team is that you care about each other, that you are, in fact, a team. So we're going to put our hands together here, and on 3, we're going to say team. But before we do that, I want you to think about what that word means. That as a group, we are more important than we are as individuals. We accomplish more as a team than we do as individual people.
I've seen them come together and forge friendships that are deeper than they were when we started. We've also seen them get to know some of the kids on the boys' side, and that's been a kind of neat thing to see as well. I don't think that these kids will feel the same about themselves ever again after this experience. When you're at a place like this, you begin to appreciate what you mean to one another more than you ever have before. She's good. She's real good.
Danny Jacobs played shortstop and is in many ways just like the rest of her teammates. But one thing about her quickly draws your eye: her size, standing tall at less than 5 feet.
When you're batting, it helps because of a smaller strike zone, but there's a line drive that goes over your head. If you're this much taller, you'd have it every time.
I feel a little bad for her because I was always so small growing up, and I knew it was pretty tough for me. Danielle's handled it so good. You know, her athletic abilities have carried her over that. She is very small, but her teammates and opponents have always seen the way she plays, and they forget about her size real quick.
It's either going to be one way or the other, so I'm either going to be short or I'm going to be really tall, or average, and being average is boring.
You guys want to all get a picture together?
And after the first day's games, the Cuban players wanted to meet this pint-sized pit bull.
They want to know about the little one. The little one. What's your name?
Danny.
Como de Daniela.
In the next few games, the American girls were able to hold their own on the field and win a couple games against softer competition.
Once they get older, they'll be better players. Maybe down the road they'll bump into one of them in the Pan American Games.
Ooh, right there. Right down central. Didn't get it.
For the boys, the competition on day 2 was a little tougher. For one of the games, it was the bottom of the last inning, and the U.S. was holding on to a slim lead. When the Cubans came through with a grand slam to win it for the home team. But these games were a lot more than highlights in a box score.
Faster we go, the quicker it gets over with, and the better everybody is.
Yeah.
Andy Turner is the boys' manager.
I don't understand what I said. Baseball is the thing. I mean, there's nothing else in Havana right now that I know of that is treated any higher than baseball. That's it. Good job. Good baseball. When we're able to take a common ground that we do real well in too, being baseball, and be able to bring that common ground that's the highest thing in Cuba, that's been the tool that's kind of got us all together, and we've been able to have fun with it. Who knows? You score 3 runs, we keep playing.
As much as playing ball in Cuba was a learning experience for the kids, the same was true for the coaches.
I've learned in the last 24 hours some things that I would do to develop kids' arms just by watching them. They use a towel to teach their kids how to throw. That's what your arm needs to be, is a bullwhip to throw a baseball. And they say, all right, learn how to throw with that bullwhip in there. What a great idea.
I might want to be her agent.
Hey, Joe, he's gonna take on another agency ship, Jacobs.
Oh, he is?
Yeah, he's already scouting.
Duffy Bass knows a thing or two about coaching. For 25 years, he managed the Illinois State University baseball team, leading them to a national title in 1969. He was part of the entourage that went to Cuba and very much impressed.
And it's kind of refreshing to see these young guys and these young ladies get out and compete and show everyone that where they come from, there are good people.
Hi, my friend. My friend.
Baseball is Cuba's national obsession. These games made it onto the evening news, and finding little kids playing on their own makeshift field wasn't too surprising. That youthful spirit was seen throughout the games, and Cuban organizers used the occasion to create and strengthen friendships through baseball.
The thing that they think would be most important is the exchange between the two countries, between the games, the culture, and the young people, and for the friendship, because baseball is a way to create friendship between the two people.
Friendship may have been the goal of the games, but the Cubans were fierce competitors too, trying to rally to victory with a lot of rhythm. It was perhaps the most passionate display during the trip. Even small neighborhood boys were there to join in the fun and admire their older heroes. It was the only spark of life in an otherwise empty ballpark, extinguished by a police officer who came along and kicked the kids out.
When the Cuban adventure continues, owning a car in Cuba can be challenging, especially if it's one of the many classic American cars on the road. Also, capitalism is beginning to edge its way into this communist country. We'll take you inside a family-owned restaurant.